How does taking time for yourself and rejuvenating yourself translate into being a better parent for your children?
The idea is when you care for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for your spirit, you're not going to show up with the same kind of vibrations when
Mm.
you frustrated, where it's chaos in your life and you never have the time to take some time for yourself. So the dynamic within the house will be different. The fact that you care for yourself, it means you're going to show up at your best.
You're tuning into the Journey to Your Best Self podcast, where we explore the past holistic well-being, personal growth, and living a fulfilling life. Each episode, we bring you insightful conversations, practical tools, and inspiring stories to help you integrate your mind, body, and spirit on your journey to becoming your best self. Let's dive in and embark on this journey together. All right, welcome back to the Journey to Your Best Self podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian O'Neill, joined by my wonderful co-host, Tara O'Neill, clinical hypnotherapist, life coach, yoga instructor, and most importantly, my sister. Together here to guide you on the path to a more balanced and fulfilling life. Today we have Tessia Watson, a devoted single mother of 2 boys, spiritual teacher, the founder of Les Petits Bilots, a bilingual childhood program that she successfully ran for 7 years. Tessia is also the author of the inspiring new book, Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids, where she shares her personal journey of balancing family life and care. Tessia is very passionate about advocating for the well-being of mothers, believing that when mothers prioritize their own rejuvenation, they not only thrive, but also create a happier and healthier environment for their own children. So today we're going to dive into the importance of self-care, the challenges of modern parenting, and how Tessia's approach can help mothers everywhere reclaim their energy and joy, and that also translates into raising children that have their own energy and joy. So we're so excited to have you with us today. If I mispronounce anything when we delve into the French side, please correct me immediately. But Tessia, welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate the space, and I'm really happy to be here and to share my experience with you, with your audience. Thank you.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on is that in this space, as you put it, self-care, self-awareness, self-help, improvement, there's a lot of people out there. It can get crowded at times. We do find it can get a bit redundant. There's a lot of the same things that are being said, that are being read, that are being passed along, and it's a bit of an echo chamber. But you really have created this niche for yourself that I think that a lot of people aren't really focusing on. And there's a lot of self-help that people have out there. There's a lot of parenting advice for the children that people have out there. But then there's a missing space where the parents of children, lost. There's that period where moms in particular are raising children from newborns, toddlers, their formative years, through their teen years, even into college, university, and beyond. And they're not a priority anymore. When did you recognize that was kind of lacking out there, the self-care and taking care of yourself, especially for the moms?
Yes, definitely, agree on what you're saying. It's just for me, it was progressive. I was so happy to become a mother, and I just wanted to do the best for, my children. And you just don't realize at first how much you put, yourself aside. I didn't. Maybe for some people it's straight away, but me, it was after at least 1, 2 years. It was a voice actually within telling me that it's not supposed to be that way. You should
Mm.
be able to have some time for yourself or to sometimes do something without them. Who you were before suddenly is gone. That was my experience. I used to love going out. I was working, enjoyed spending time with my friends or do, some activities such as, going to the gym and suddenly everything of that world is gone. So you have something precious within your hands and with, huge responsibilities as well that come with it. And you're just losing yourself because you enjoy what you're doing. You enjoy this new role, but you don't want to enjoy that new role and all the rest has to disappear from your life. So this voice was not that loud at first. It was, an inner voice. And then after weeks and months, it just came, it was just louder, like, do something. Just, just don't stay and just suffer, or you feel that you have to just endure and it will pass. Just do something. You can change things. And that's when I started to look for some help, childcare. At the time, I was still with my ex-partner, um, and I just progressively started to go back to classes. But for that, you need to find, solution because I was a stay-at-home mom. That
Mm.
decision was fine. I was really happy with that decision, but it was 24/7, and I needed breaks, and I knew that I was the only one who can, make that happen. And if I was not doing anything, even, getting some support or, asking questions out there, you just stuck there until they're growing a little bit more.
Now, is that when the child care program started? Was that the
Mhm.
beginning of that? Okay. Can you speak a little bit about that
Um,
and what you had hoped to do with developing that program?
yeah, so what happened is, I think when my first one was one, I was looking for a type of childcare when you can just drop for a couple of hours. So you just,
Mm.
they can start to socialize and having new friends, and you start to have a little break. In France, it's common for stay-at-home parents to have this kind of childcare around. But here in London, I couldn't find anything. If you want to sign up for that for those kind of childcare program, you have to
Hmm.
register your child for at least every morning at a time for at least a couple of days. And I made my decision that I wanted to stay at home and to raise the children. So it was not working for me. I just needed a break from time to time. So I just started to look for it and I couldn't find anything. I was completely shocked because it's something that I knew existed in France, in Paris, where I'm from. And so I called my mom, Mom, there's nothing. What I'm gonna do? And it's her. She just said, it's okay, just create it. Okay. By the time I created what I'm doing with the, thing, I suffered quite a lot. And I just wanted to make sure that other, mothers in my situation don't have to go through that. So I created it and it was amazing. It was something really new in the neighborhood. Never heard about it. We were welcoming the children from 6 months old. It was very
Okay.
gentle. We only, you know, 8 children, babies. So the settling was really beautiful. So mother was, they were able to have some time for themselves, and it was something really valuable for them. They really appreciated it. And all those years, I just, heard so much beautiful things, how, grateful they were because it was something important that, they could give back to themselves and, do the things that they love, even if it's just for a couple hours. It just, it makes a massive difference.
Absolutely. What were how does taking time for yourself and rejuvenating yourself translate into being a better parent for your children?
I think we will all agree that when you are, full of energy, you are, relaxed, rested, happy, you're not the same person as when you're tired, you're exhausted, or not well, you're two different persons. Okay, you don't show up the same. We all know this because we've all experienced that. So the idea is when you care for yourself, for your mind, for your body, for your spirit, you're not going to show up with the same kind of vibrations when you frustrated, where it's chaos in your life and you never have the time to take some time for yourself. So the dynamic within the house will be different, and it's down to you, down to what do you do. um
And the kids
in
can
terms
feel that, right? They can feel that, they can feel that energy.
and everything, but because you're
Mm,
gonna respond differently.
mm,
um Something that your child will say or will do, you will never have the same reaction when you are in peace and happy, or when you are stressed and frustrated. It
okay.
will be a different answer. So, and the children can sense that. So the fact that you care for yourself, it means that more days where you're going to show up, at your best. And what's going
Mm,
to happen is going to impact your children positively, more positively. And then the whole dynamic of the family is completely different. So it's so important. And children learn through observation. So what they see, obviously, is what, if it's repetitive, what they will apply as well. So if they see parents, caring for them, showing them love and attention and everything they require, but at the same time as well, they know when it's important, and they just take care for themselves, go out. They're not always with them. They just do activities that they love to do, things like
mm,
that. They will be the same when they will be older. I remember one that I decided to go for a massage, and I came back home. The boys were older. They were not babies, but they were older. But also relaxed, because obviously all the tension were gone, was gone.
mm.
And they were like, "Oh, Mom, you feel different." But for whatever reason, they wanted to hang out more around me, because suddenly I'm a more attentive parent. I'm more, there in the moment. I'm more happy. They sense that,
Sure.
and they appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I can
That's
sense it
really
right
well.
across the pond here. It's palpable coming across. So you're definitely practicing what you're preaching as far as calm, collective, at peace. You have the presence there, and that energy is real that you were talking about when you're at a better place. And it's so true that kids, even untrained, can sense that and just react to it and recognize it. Like that story about the massage. Somehow, without knowing that you went on that appointment, right? They knew you were kind of different than when you had left. So kids are so insightful. We don't give them enough credit sometimes, I don't think, for recognizing that.
Yeah.
Well, and I would take it. Thank you so much, Tessia. This is so amazing, and this is so powerful for so many moms out there, because I think they just need to hear it over and over and over again, right? Because the kids are energetically so sensitive. Even if you have a smile on your face, but you're exhausted, you're not taking care of yourself, like they know that, and so you want to be that role model. It's like, yes, mommy has to take care of herself too. And in turn, they know that like their own self-care is going to be important, right? Like I think we're past the old paradigm of, overly sacrificing and just really martyring it and doing it alone. And so I love this because it's really welcoming a new paradigm for moms. Um, can you share your spiritual practice, or what spirituality means to you as a mom, and how that comes into your life, and if it carries over into the family? Do you have I mean, you seem highly intuitive, and yes, we could definitely feel, the vibe. You worked on that, or maybe it's natural, but it's beautiful, and thank you. Yes, can you speak to the spiritual part of the rejuvenated mom?
Yes, definitely. I just want to come back to what you just said. Yes, I agree. The narrative has to change. I remember, and I think all mothers now will agree that when you give birth, professional, they come to you and they just, teach you how to care for the baby. So you have all the information you need to care for the baby. And it's important because it's a new terrain. You just don't know. It's a new field. It's important. But no one ever asked me, or even nowadays still, Tessia, what would you like your motherhood journey to look like? I would have said, what do you mean? Like, do you want to take care of the baby 24/7? Do you want to sometimes, go for a coffee, see some friends? What would you like? What? If just someone would ask that question, I
Yeah.
would have to think
Right.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have changed a lot of things because I would have planned what I
Right.
really want, to happen for me.
Sure.
And it's that type of, because sometimes it's not about telling parents what they need to do, because rejuvenation can be so different from one mother to another, right? It's what works for you, what makes you feel good and whole again, right? And it can be so many different ways. But if someone just, guide you on that, journey or just thinking process, you will find what you would love to do while you have a 1 month old baby, let's say. And I know everything is all about how you can care for the baby, not how you can care for yourself. So I thought it was important to
No, absolutely.
um,
Thank you for
talk about
for
that.
starting to change that narrative.
We really have to now. And in terms of what I've done, I just, started slowly because obviously it's so demanding when they're so young. It's so demanding. And what I've learned is that when they are asleep, or because when they're always there, if you don't have childcare breaks, for instance, those little moments that you have for yourself when you just take a shower, or it's exactly at that moment that you can recharge. It's just a small moment, but it counts tremendously if you can at that moment, appreciate and be in the moment and not again in your mind, with all your thoughts racing about what I'm gonna do for dinner or what, if you
I
can
knew you were
just
gonna say that. As a parent, I knew you were gonna use that example because
if you can
it's the big one, right? It's one of the big ones that
yes,
we
because
always think about every day.
you have to work with what you have.
Sure.
So if you don't have that possibility today, when we are talking now, to have 2 hours break in your day just for yourself, because you're not there yet for whatever reason, you just have to go with what you have. And if it's just, half an hour when the baby is asleep, just take that time for yourself, not to just, start, doing things in the kitchen or whatever. Just sit there and do something that you love doing, whatever it is, something that counts. And in my, what I've done a lot, it was reading. And I think was something really great for my mind in terms of I was focusing, obviously on the story. So my mind was not racing somewhere. So I was in the moment, reading something that I was enjoying, and that was something really helpful. Progressively, obviously, to do so many things because I understood what I've done, meaning nothing in terms of self-care. So I went back to the gym, and for this, I created my opportunities. I made sure that I have someone to look after the children, or I send them to the nursery. Take those moments to do that, not again for the house or for them, to run something, do some shopping for them, just for me. So it started like that, and then it started to grow. So it was caring for my body, caring for my mind, learning something new, caring as well for my spirit. So meditation, I was blown away. It was when I discovered it, it was something very, very unique. So I've learned what it is to be in the present moment. I've learned what is it to, pause, when you just stop and you just concentrate and focus on one thing. You decide whatever it is. It could be just the body or just the noise surrounding you. And you just stay there. Wow. It was so new at the time that no, I'm used to it. But at the time, it was making a massive difference in my life. Level of happiness was just like at such a point because I was like, wow, I can stop, my thoughts a little bit and just, decide a little bit on what needs to happen here. And it's just, you understand that you have a control, that is just practice. And once you understand that, you can decide if you want to think about this or not, and it
So
changes your life.
that sounds like a game changer right there that we have to really focus in on. The meditation piece for those that are uninitiated and maybe it's something foreign to them. That's something that you would definitely encourage making it a regular part of the routine.
Completely. It's absolutely changed your perception of life. And everything that seems, negative or suddenly it changes. You just don't see it that way anymore because you're such on a frequency where just having, drinking just a carrot juice
Mm.
made your day. Yes. So anything that can happen is like, well, I've heard my heartbeat today. You realize that breathing, hearing just your heartbeat, just drinking something, water, whatever it is, it's such a blessing that your whole day it feels like it's nothing can interrupt that flow, and because you just feel so grateful of the fact that you're healthy, the fact that you have a beautiful family, that you have and it's every day, whole day. So for me, it was a massive. People around me could see that. They were like, "You're different. There's something. Try meditation." You just on another planet. It's let's say you're just so grateful at such a level that you enjoy your day 10 times than once when you don't practice meditation.
Sure.
That's my experience.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I feel as though it's so hopeful for women and mothers in this, well, for everybody, but mothers specifically, that, you don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a fancy training or a program. Like, this is accessible to every mom that has maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, when the kids are sleeping. So if I'm getting this correctly, like, don't do all, like, the house is never going to be perfectly clean. You're never going to have all of the meals planned out. So don't focus on that when you have this little bit of time, but take it for yourself and find
Okay.
what meditation means and mindfulness means to you, and just experiment with it and explore that. Because the way that you've described it makes sense on a visceral, ethereal level. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, so at home, are there any tips that you would suggest? Like maybe, light a candle, or, go in a quiet space, go to nature. Is there anything like that? Any ideas you
Yeah,
could share?
tips would be because it seems almost counter when you were it's obvious that your book is going to be so helpful to people because just them hearing you now, you can almost feel like the transformative, nature of your journey. So it's just, I think they're just going to love it and learn so much from it. But at first listen, it seems like, oh, you know, she does, she has all this stuff going on, or not you, but the queen, parents have so much going on, now they want to add in reading, going to the gym, meditating, they're going to be even more tired. But saying, and you're demonstrating that adding those things into your life are giving you actually more energy.
Right.
So you're not taking those 10, 20, 45 minutes and just, lounging around, watching a Netflix rerun that you've seen a million times. If you do these other things, you're making a decision to improve. It seems like that's strengthened you as a person and giving you more life and energy. Am I
You're
correct in that?
completely correct. And what I was just saying as well is it was progressive. It was not something that suddenly, oh, today I'm gonna do this and this. I discovered because once I went with one practice, the impact it had on me made me to, okay, so maybe I can add another one. So
Mhm.
it's whenever it feels right for you. And then, but obviously it started to be obsessed a little bit with what should I do for myself. And so I was trying always to find something new.
Mm.
So that's why it was reading. And then obviously going out, I was not going out that much. So I decided to just go out once in a while with my friends. And just that, just to be able to be with your friends and have adult conversation, it's so stimulating. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just, it reminds you who you were before as well. It's very in a sense therapeutic, and it really helped me, and I needed that. The same, I remember before becoming a mother. I know all that always depends. Some people that just it's what they want, and I had conversation with people where they say they were not someone before, and in my case we love being elegant, and so you feel that I had high heels and everything, and suddenly it's sneakers every single day. So but it was part of me, it was part of my identity, to going out sometimes and feeling and being elegant. Does that mean that you're not anymore because you became a mother? No,
Mm.
but it's your responsibility to create those occasions to be that again, even if it will be in a different way, not as much as it used to be, but it's way to connect again to your core self. And it's on you. You have to create those moments.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
love that.
find that you have gotten some pushback from traditional parents, maybe a different generation of moms? How do you deal with that, or have most moms been open to this new approach?
I think new moms, they're craving for that. So
Mm.
they're craving type of information because intuitively and consciously, that's what they need. So they will be always attracted to that kind of information because it's the truth. We all need, to care for ourselves. And what you can give to your children if you are an empty cup, not much, you know?
Mhm.
So for me, I believe that if I wrote this book, it's just because it's a calling. Even if it's unconscious, I've been called to write and share my story because we need it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
absolutely.
Well, no, let me rep the dads as a token dad on this episode. How do they fit in? In some cases, they're not present, but in many cases, they are involved in the parenting, right? Is it challenging if they're not on board? I would probably, to generalize, I would think millennial and younger dads would be more open-minded to this, but how do you go about having the moms now convince them? The first they have to convince themselves to take this journey, right? Take the first step, their spouse as well. So what role do the dads play, either helping or hindering during this journey?
So in my case, I have two type of experiences. I grew up within a broken family where my dad was not there, but not the same as what is happening now with my kids. When I grew up, it's no dad. So no presence, no support, nothing.
Mm.
So my mom was a single mom, that type of single. I am a single mom, sorry, but not that type, because dad is around, dad is supporting, and dad is caring for the boys as well. He's there, he's present, he sees his children as much as possible. He's part of the journey as well. And I think it's important because people are not having the same kind of journey, and what my mom had to go through, I didn't have to go through the same thing because I have support, right? It's not the same, and it's important. Some mom are really out there, really doing all by themselves. And so regarding the dad, I didn't share my story because I'm a mother, obviously. It was my experience. But I think it depends on the involvement. If they are really, present, I think it applies to them as well, because we all human beings, right? And if they are as present as the mother, working and being there for the children, they need as well to obviously find time for themselves and do the things that they love, and they can, discuss that with their partner and, find ways. But I think what I will say as well is find time together as a couple as well, because I think what happened in my experience, I stopped, going out on dates, and this affect, the relationship a lot. And sometimes you just don't know, the kids are there. It's a whole adjustment for the whole family. Not sometimes, often, the couple is side as well. It's not just the self, it's the self,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
couple as well. And we need to know the narrative on this one.
Yeah.
The
Right? The
same as
balance. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so
For
true,
sure.
right? The kids take the top priority, and then the self, and then sometimes the relationship with the partners can be even third. So
yeah,
it's way behind. So you nourishing that. You mentioned dates. Even when some people think,
yeah,
right, when
absolutely.
they're together, they don't need to do that anymore, right? Or that's just something they used to do before kids. I mean, I know that you've probably experienced that with you said yourself, and then with friends that happens. And the empty cup analogy is perfect, right? Because then what do you have to give others and to share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just
And
add
balance.
to
It's all about the balance. Tara, go ahead.
the question, similar to what Brian was saying about, where do the dads or the other caregivers come into play. So, let's say, whether the father and the mother are together or not, how can, the dad that's seeing the mom in these, especially these first few years of life, maybe taking care of herself, how can he gently, encourage, hey, maybe you should go out with some friends. Maybe you should go to a class. Maybe you should, take some time for some tea, whatever it is that they like to do, that they enjoy to do, that's maybe away from the kids. Is there a way that they could start the conversation in a way that is like I said,
I think the best way to do that, because they really mean well. So I think the best is to show straight away that they see the struggle of, the partner, and they suggest straight away that I'm so happy if I can care for the baby for,
Mm,
I don't know, whatever, 1 hour, and do whatever you want to do that
mm,
way. Because if it's more, maybe you should do this or should do that,
okay.
the one, how, how,
You're
if you come with the solution straight away, or I'm thinking about maybe we can call you mom or my mom, or whatever
sure.
it's, could be an option. So you come up with the solution and you just say, and we can, either go out together, or you can, take some
Yeah.
time for yourself. What do you think?
Yeah. Right. No, that's so key. Because the last thing she needs to do is think, well, I'm not doing enough, or how am I going to do this, or I should. So that's so key. So come up with a couple options maybe, or a solution to how they can do it.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. I love
So
that.
one of the things that a lot of our listeners are interested in, we have a lot of people that are trying to do some entrepreneur work, solopreneur work, starting different things, following their passion. You're such a good example and model of the possibilities that people have. A lot of times when people have kids, they kind of stop professionally as well, especially moms, right? They leave the workforce or they stay at home. And if it's your choice, it's one thing, but if it's kind of by necessity, it's another thing. But in writing this book, forget about the contents of the book for a second, which are incredible. Can you take us a little bit through that process? Was it one of those progressive things that you spoke about, the idea for a while? Was it more of an aha moment? Did something happen that made you think, oh, I have to get this down and I have to spread the word to others? Can you tell us a little bit about how that started and the process?
Yes, something that was really painful for me. So what happened is, when my first one was born, we had issues regarding sleeping. We know that the repetition of newborn is to not sleep that much, every 2 hours or 3 hours. They wake up, you know that in advance, and you can't be really ready for that, but at least you are aware. In my case, it was a little bit different. My baby was not sleeping at all. So it means that as soon as it was starting to lay and I was moving him, away, boom. And I was like, but this is impossible. You need to sleep at 2 hours. I have 2 hours break. And it was not happening. So I was getting crazy and crazy. And I was crying every night because it was all night long. And I really suffered. I went to classes, breastfeeding classes. And the lady there, she was lovely and really supportive. And she said, Tessia, once in a while, there's a baby, more difficult in that sense, regarding, sleeping part. And I know that the 2 hour, 3 hour is already something, massive, for us who, are, used to sleep a lot of hours. But you need to keep at it. And a couple of years ago, meet a friend. She's my really good friend now. And we just, for the first time, meet. And we are having that conversation. And I just asked, so what do you do? And she replied, I'm a maternity nurse. So what is that? We go to, the parents' place and we stay overnight. Wow. At that moment, my world stopped. I think 5 years later, like 5 years after having given birth, I was about to cry. I went back to the past. There was a solution. The solution was out there and I was not aware. I know people were start to, they asked me about money. No. I would have given everything to have just one night, just one, of sleep.
Wow.
Normal sleep. I was suffering tremendously. And we all know that the lack of sleep is torture. We all know that. And because of my lack of awareness, I assumed that what I was going through, there were nothing out there to help. It would have take me just 1 second to just, Google, what could you do with a newborn or not sleeping, whatever. And something will have come up. The service will have come up. So I was like, and that was my lesson. To any problem that exists on this planet, there's a solution. You might not be aware of it, but it exists. Why? Because this is the law of polarity. You can't have a hot without a cold. You can't have a back without, front. It's the way this world has been created. So as soon as I knew, that I had to share it, I had to share it with others because the struggles and, challenges will be different from one to another. But this consciousness that no matter what I'm going through, there is a solution, even if I'm not, aware or I don't know it yet, it exists, by principle, by law. And it changes everything. It changes everything because you know that it's a matter of time to find out what could help or whatever it is. And when you know this, it's like your mind is just kind of on this frequency. You will attract to it because you have this desire, burning desire within you to find a solution. I guarantee you the solution will come to you. It works this way. And I discovered that literally. But this was something so important to my heart. I mean, I suffered so much that when I've met my friend Mathilde, I was like, Tess, this is the biggest lesson you've ever learned. Now you know. Don't just stay in the problem ever. Look for the solution.
Inspiring, truly.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And now,
And you can also say, be open to receive it in a way that you might not expect, as you so eloquently described.
Exactly. It's beautiful. As soon as you kind of trust the process and you just let it in the hand, of whatever you want to call it, the universe, this creative energy, God. Wow, you're gonna be surprised.
and
Beautifully surprised.
and then you felt, I'm assuming that now you have to pass this newfound knowledge on to others, right? So you are really doing a service to so many because you're kind of the work for them, who went through that suffering and made you stronger. But then you had this realization, and so many, it's you're blessed in a lot of ways, and it's your strength as well. But you did the searching, but you, like Tara said, you had that balance of being open-minded to receive it as well. And I'm guessing you said, I'm going to write this down and let others know there's help and hope out there.
Yes, through the years, my beliefs, they changed. Now, see us as one. Whatever I want, for me, I want for others. So it just, because I believe so much that we are just, one. We just look different, but I just want to know, if I'm happy, I want the same for others. And I found ways to be happy all the time. So when you see this world where people, a lot are, they're struggling, it's difficult, and you just want to share, you just want to send out positive, vibrations, and because everyone can, is able to feel the way you feel. I'm not from, another planet. If I can be happy every single day, people can as well. It's just a matter of, wanting that for yourself, and maybe, learning as well how you can connect to your core self, to the source of life. But it's, we all have been created the same way. So we have all the same abilities.
Can you talk a little bit about that connection? Before we go, I wanted to, you're not from another planet, clearly. At least you're doing a good job hiding that fact if you are. But, you've been outside of London, right? Across the channel. As we were booking things and doing research on our end, I was thinking about you. My in-laws had traveled and they connected at Lome, headed back to Nairobi. So I know you have connections also outside of your diverse background and your parents from outside France. You have a worldliness about you and a connection with all kinds of different people. How has that heritage affected one way or the other your journey, and how has it helped you? And can you relate a little bit to people out there that are in kind of diverse families or have different backgrounds, or just curious?
Yes, and you will understand a little bit why I'm a bit like that. So I'm born and raised in Paris. Okay. My dad's side, I'm from the Caribbean. From my mom's side, I'm from Togo, Lomé. And
That was a connection for those unaware. That's where the major airport in Togo is, right?
yes, exactly. So my mom was born with sickle cell. in Lomé. And
Mm.
all her life, she has been very, very sick. She never had the kind of, childhood that you can have. She never had, um, as teenage, it doesn't exist for her. It didn't exist for her. So at some point, she had to go to Paris to get more care, and because obviously it was more, advanced there. So she went. She had sisters there, so she went there,
Okay.
and she had the treatment. She had everything that she had, and she continued, and she had 2 children, me and my brother. So we grew up with a sick mom every single day, and my mom was never complaining. You could see the pain. You could see her going to the hospital, not knowing if she will come back, because she goes at least for 3 weeks or months. And apart from that, I lived a beautiful childhood, but I was stressed and I was afraid that she's not coming back, but she always came back. And I think when you see someone who can't really enjoy all the beautiful things in life and still has a smile, and it's not a fake one, because you can really feel it. We were talking about this as children. I was like, well, I'm healthy. So unless I'm dying in a hospital like my mom, wow, I'm going to enjoy this life. I'm going to really enjoy this ride, because without all that, she was unexplained. She never complained. My brother and I, we grew up in a peaceful, loving, beautiful environment. We had to be quite, quiet at home, because we wanted her to rest as much as
Mm.
possible all the time. And she has been so much blessed, because my dad left, but a couple of years later, my auntie came to live with us. So my mom could go back to work and not to have to do both work and children and house and everything, which was too much. She
Mm.
was always in hospital sick. Um,
Sure.
so whenever, and even the situation is not, a great situation, there's still, you still receive blessings. And my auntie, she has been an angel, because she raised me alongside my mom and with my brother. And thanks to them, I am who I am now. But it's thanks to my, obviously, mom's journey that I got my resilience. I don't stay long into sadness or whatever it is, or if there's an obstacle, whatever it is. Well, I'm still healthy. So for me, it's just, she's my
You
biggest.
have a
Yeah,
you have a
first of all, you're
built-in
just a
gratitude.
beautiful,
You
beautiful
have a
storyteller.
built-in
Go ahead.
yes, absolutely. You have a built-in gratitude practice, right? That's what it feels like. That radiance of, it's just such a nice reminder.
Hmm.
And a great message that, even when so two things. One is, like, even when we are suffering, even through those moments, maybe that those mothers that are suffering, and they aren't sleeping, or they have lost themselves, like, there is hope that those are actually gems for transformation and for awakening and for higher connection and consciousness.
Yes,
So that right there is a beautiful, beautiful message, because,
Yeah,
they
I
might
love how
need those
you're
reminders.
yeah, and you're so humble in that, you look to others, to get some inspiration as well, and that's so important. Reaching out, you're not alone, right? You can always look to people who have done it before you. People can look to you now. What was her secret? Was it her faith? For those again who may not be aware, sickle cell is something that's with you always, right? So that pain, the fatigue, the symptoms are consistent and kind of unpredictable, right? If
exactly.
it's something that if you don't go through it, it's hard to understand what someone else has dealt with. So was it her faith or just her, upbringing? What was her secret to getting through that
I am
and
not sure.
raising a successful daughter and son?
Thank you. I think because she was born sick, there's
Mm.
not, th- the element of comparison doesn't exist. That's why it's very difficult for people to become sick later in life, because they can compare the life they had before and what's going on now. And it's tremendously difficult for them to accept that. But I've learned that the miracle is in the acceptation. That is so important to understand. But it's not easy. My mom didn't have to have this moment, but she said she had a little bit. And I was like, of course, because you were born sick. And she said, I refused. And she was older. She was trying to party a little bit, and she was getting back to the hospital. And it was a way of, for her, obviously, to say, no, I don't want that. But she was born like this. It's so different compared to people that, can get sick later. And that's why I talk about in the book, because so often we are born healthy, but because of our choices in life, we became, for me, it's just so unfortunate, because sometimes some people, they just don't even have that opportunity. And I think for my mom, because the body was not, she can't really rely on the body. For whatever reason, she built this mental strength. She's tough. Like, she's mentally extremely strong, probably because when the body always, is doing whatever, everything is there. It's what, remains there. And it's as well up to her. She can complain every day because the pain is tremendous. It's not a joke. The pain in the body, it's crazy. You can't, stay at home. You have to be through oxygen. You have to be at hospital. I think she built up the mental strength, and she made the decision that, yes, okay, I'm sick, but I'm going to try to make the best out of what I have.
Excellent. And all right, one more thing for me before Tara has her closing question. Mom right now driving her kids to Walmart, get those last minute clothes or supplies for school. She's wearing her pajama pants. She's frustrated. She's maybe listening in the kitchen or whatever, on a break at work, and thinking, wow, I can have all these things that Tessia has. And it's like really opened up the realm of different possibilities for them. But they need to take that first step, right? Making these transformational journeys, you have to take that first step. What's one bit of advice? Where should they start off? Where can they start off? Where, like Tara had said earlier, you have great strategies and techniques that anyone can do without a membership or without fancy equipment. So what's the first thing that you recommend that a mom can do to get started and get rejuvenated?
The most important is the committed decision. It's the first step. It's, I want to do that for myself. And then it's going to happen, because you will find the next step will be, what is it? What I would like to do. But the first one is to take that committed decision that from now on, I want to care for myself. That's the
Love that. Yeah, and the universe will find a way to make it happen, right? So we don't have to think, how are we going to do this? That intention, that decision, commitment. I love that. And so, aside from your book, which we encourage everyone to read, for moms and those that maybe don't have children yet, or that's not in their story, can you share a book that you read that was really a game changer, a real shift in consciousness, or really something that helped you see life from a different perspective, or a person or a book or a story that you could share? Something pivotal.
Everything that I read, it's all about, the laws of the universe and spirituality.
Okay, well then.
So for me, one of the best books ever is The Power of Awareness from Neville Goddard. Is the one that I read every single day. When I say I read, it means I've read it once, and now it's more about studying it, applying it. So every day this book is nearby, and I read just a passage or just a paragraph, just a sentence, whatever makes me feel. But that's the one.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And I think a lot of our audience is familiar with Neville Goddard's work, but if not, please check it out, because it is, it's a game changer. So
yes,
thank you so much, Tessia.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. We have been talking with Tessia Watson. Her new book is Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. Tessia, where can people connect with you online? Where can they find this wonderful book?
So it's on Amazon. So you just have to type in Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. Otherwise, you can connect with me on my website, through my website, tessiawatson.com. And on social media, it's on Instagram, Tessia Watson.
Awesome. We'll definitely be in touch. It was a pleasure meeting you. We'll link to all of that in the show notes as well, of course. Tessia,
Okay.
thank you very much.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate this space to be able to, share the story. Thank you for the work you do, because without you, obviously we can't, start changing, helping people rise in consciousness and know this kind of information. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.